Hi everyone. So I am doing a small, just remodeling master bedroom here in my house, and we have some ugly lights in here, and I want to replace them with some recessed lighting. And they're not the primary lights for the bedroom itself, but they're like kind of corner areas of the bedroom. And the regular ceiling lights, to me, they're just ugly. So I'm going to put recessed lights in and try and make it a little bit more cleaner looking, and actually probably some better lighting as well. So I'll turn you around here and I'll show you the first spot. And there's my ugly light I want to get away from. I want to put the recessed lights in place of that. It doesn't really, I mean, it lights the area up, but it could be better. So this area here in the room, it's almost like a little nook off the side, and it's just how the house is designed. So they, I guess, took advantage of the space here, made it part of the master bedroom. On the other side of that wall is another bedroom. I guess they could have made this area part of that bedroom. Anyway, with that being said, it's a nook and it's part of the master bedroom. Now, I put lines on the ceiling, and I have plans to eventually in this area put a window seat, probably from this wall to that wall, and some kind of window seat in here with maybe some pull-out drawers and cabinets on the bottom. But it's not something I'm going to do now as part of the remodel. But it was something that I needed to take into account for this lighting that I'm working on here. So what I did is I marked out the ceiling. You can see my lines up here. I'm thinking that this little window seat that I'm going to build will be about 20 inches wide. So I took a line and I got a 20 inches off the wall. A line ran. So then what I did is from that line here to the wall, I found the center point, and that would be this line here is my center point. And then from this wall, I'm gonna have to turn around, to that wall, I found my center, and that is my center. And then I centered each half. And you can see the hole in the ceiling with the circle around it. That is the center of this part of the nook. And this one is the center of this part of the nook, which kind of comes out into the main bedroom here. And I also have a hole there. Now I drilled them holes because they were the locations that I wanted to put these lights. And I need to be at least 3 inches on all the way around on that hole that I have drilled in the ceiling, and that's because I'm using 6-inch round recessed lighting. So above this room is an attic, and this area here is open. It's just the rafters. There's insulation, and I am able to access this without any kind of issue. Now, because I'm going to be putting a window seat here, of course the window seat would have a light and it would be in the center, but the center of the window seat, when it's built, probably in a year from now, will be the center of the window. So I found the center of the window, and I came to the center of my 20-inch mark, which is 10 inches, and then you can see those 2 holes right there. Now the first hole I drilled right on center. The problem is I have a beam or a joist just to the left of that, and it's about 2.5 inches from that hole in the ceiling. So I needed to be at least 3 inches, so I had to move it over a 1/2 inch. Now, once that light's in, I don't think anybody will know that it's not perfectly centered on this window. It's going to be 1/2 inch this way. I'll be the only one that knows, and it'll probably bug me for the rest of my life, but that's how things go. Now, I am going to put the light over the window on a separate switch. And the switch for the lighting in this area is right here. Now, I guess there's a couple of options I could do. I could use this single box and do a top and bottom double switch. The problem's going to be I do need to pull a wire from here up the wall and then up in the attic to come over to the light that is going to be by itself on its own switch over the window. The wire for the other two lights is already up there. I'm going to take the wire off of this light and wire in those lights from that wire or that feed from the light switch. So with all that being said, I am going to cut this out because I'm going to be in here doing some spackling and things like that, and I'm going to put a double box here, so I'll have switch and switch on both sides of the box. And before I put that box in, I'll have a nice opening here where I can get that wire up through the wall and into the attic. And what I'll do is go up to the attic, I'll drop a fish down from above, and I'll be able to catch the fish down here when this is open, and then I'll put the box in. Now, I don't know if I'm going to use an old work box or just get another box. Either way, it really doesn't matter. I know that I'm going to have to cut some of this sheetrock away and then patch it. And that doesn't really matter either, because with doing painting and everything in here, I'm going to be going around and spackling closed any holes that were in the wall from pictures that were hung, just so I have a fresh slate to start after I paint the room. So I'm going to go with a double box here and then have switch and switch side by side. So like I said, I have that opening there to work with to pull a wire either up or down for the single light over this window. So yeah, it's a little bit of work, but it's a nice little project. Now the other area I have, I'm going to turn my work light around because the bulb here is out. It's the same fixture, ugly as anything, for this little hallway here. So this is the door to come into the room. That door straight ahead is the master bath. The door to the left is the walk-in closet. So this is a dark area because the only lighting for the rest of the room is a ceiling fixture or ceiling fan. So I'm going to put two recessed lightings in here, and I already have the ceiling marked out. Now I have not from the attic checked to see where exactly the rafters are. So I'm hoping that where I have this figured out, there's no rafter there, and I'm able to get the lights in. I won't know that till I get up in the attic. This part of the attic has plywood covered over it, so I'm going to have to pull that plywood up to get down into the ceiling in between the rafters and see if I'm able to put these lights where I have the marks on the ceiling. So how I figured out where I was going to put the lights here, I took a measurement from this wall to the end of this wall, found the halfway mark, which is right here. I don't have a line, but it comes, intercepts the existing light fixture. And then I took half of that, and if you can see my bullseye drawing there, that's where one light will go. And then on the other side here is where another light will go. So I found the halfway point, and then the halfway point of the halfway point, and then center from this wall to the wall behind me, and that's where I'm going to have the placements of these recessed lights, hopefully. But before I get to that spot, I'm going to work up on the front here. And first thing we need to do is we're going to make some 6-inch round holes for these recessed lights. Let me turn my spotlights around. We're going to make the holes for the lighting. Then I'm going to pull the wire. I'm going to pull this box out of the wall, pull a wire, and we'll put a double gang box in there for the light switches. So yeah, with all that being said, it's time to get started. The lights in, they're not wired, and I removed the ugly light. So that hole in the ceiling there will need to get patched. The wire hanging out of it, that will light, or that will power that light there and the light here. I ran a new wire for the light over the window, like I said earlier in the video, and here's that wire here. Now, I cut out an opening so I can replace that single gang box with a double gang box, because I'll have 2 switches there. I'm going to have to do some patchwork there. No big deal. I was not able to fish this wire with a fish, so what I ended up having to do was cut a hole in the wall up close to the ceiling, and right where I cut it was the hole in the 2x4 going up into the attic. Where this corner is in the attic is a really tough spot. The roof to the house is a hip roof, and that's where 2 sides come and connect. So that there was really far back. I wasn't able to get in there to push a fish down, and the fact that there was insulation in this wall, I really didn't want to ruin that insulation by pushing a fish through it. So it was just easier to make a cut in the wall, and I can come back and patch it. And I'm going to do some patching work in here anyway before I paint. So that's really not a big deal. I kept the piece I cut out. There it is there. I kept the piece that I cut out. The arrow on it's telling me that it goes this way, and that would be the ceiling up at that end. So yeah, that was a little bit of work. Now I'm going to go up in the attic and wire these lights together. I'll take you up there so you can see the spot I'm working in. I'll turn you around. It's not an easy spot to get to. There's no floor there, so I'm balancing myself on the rafters, and I'm hoping I do not fall through the ceiling, and then I'll have more patchwork to do. So let's go up to the attic, and I'll show you what I'm dealing with up there. All right, here's the stairway to the attic. The attic access is in the middle bedroom. That's a good sized attic, plenty of storage up here. So that area with those 3 lights is back here. That round window there is actually centered right above the window in the bedroom. So our light is it's 10 inches towards the camera shot is where that light is resting. It's not easy to get back there. I'm not going to be able to set the camera up while I wire these. It's somewhat of a balancing act. I do not want to fall through this ceiling or put my foot through it and create myself more patchwork, so I'm going to need to be careful working back there. But yeah, if I can do that, this should only take me maybe 15-20 minutes to wire these 3 up. They're really easy to wire, and I'll show you the area for the other 2 lights, and that'll be right in here. So I'm going to have to move some of this stuff. I'll pull this sheet of plywood up, and then I can find out exactly what I'm working with as far as the rafters go. Now I think the rafters are running this way. I could be wrong. The way the house is I don't want to say chopped up, but the way it's built, there's a lot of high ceilings from the first floor all the way up the stairway. So some of these rafters are running in all different directions, and thinking that in this area the rafters are going to be running towards the camera. Over in this area they are running in this direction, but I'm thinking that at some point they start running towards the camera. And I can't see that, it's all covered right now. Yeah, but we'll just pull that plywood up. We'll be able to get to that without an issue. Alright, so I'll go get some tools, come back up here. I'm going to have to set up a light now. I'm losing my daylight through that little window. I'll wire these up. Alright, lights are all wired. Let's see if they work. Light over the window. That works good. And then the other two lights, nice and bright now in this little nook. The lighting was terrible before with that ceiling fixture. So what I did have to open up the drywall a little bit more. I was going to try and just slide this switch into the existing opening after enlarging it to fit the double gang box, but the problem was I couldn't get these wires pulled down in the box, and I was afraid I would tear the coating on the wire pulling on it. So I just decided to make a cut above the box so I could get the wire down in the box. Got the box in, attached it, and we'll just patch this up. We were going to have to patch here anyway, so our patch will run up there. And then again, a patch up there from when we pulled the wire through. But I got to patch the hole in the ceiling from the old lights fixture. So it's not like we wouldn't be in here patching anything. Yeah, so this looks good. Now we're going to go to the other end of the room and do this hallway. I have to pull the plywood floor up off the rafters up in the attic. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll see if I'm able to put these new lights in their spots that I have marked out based on how those rafters are running. If not, I'll have to make some adjustments. Back up in the attic, the floor is up, and here is the box for that light fixture, and there is our beam. So it turns out that centering these lights isn't going to be possible. So what I needed to do was move my center hole over an inch and a half. I'll take you downstairs and show you the sketch on the ceiling, but we would have been too close to this rafter. So I did drill a test hole, and this test hole is an inch and a half in this direction from my original mark. We would have just caught the edge of the rafter. So this is the one that's closest to the master bath door, and then I got another one somewhere under here. I was hoping I didn't have to take up this other piece of plywood, but looking like I might have to. Is what it is. Let's get downstairs. I'll show you my sketch on the ceiling. Okay, so there, the circle is where the center of the light will be. To the right, see that line going in this direction. That would have been center for this little hallway, but because of that rafter, here's the old box. On this side is where the rafter is. And that rafter is attached, or that electrical box is attached to that rafter. We're going to remove that and patch that. So they're not going to be quite centered, but they'll be close enough, and I don't want to get into notching out the rafter. For an inch and a half, it will be fine. once it's in, the only person that'll probably know it is me. Same thing on this side. I moved it over 1.5 inches. So it looks like I'm going to have to pull that other board up. I really didn't want to do that. But nothing's easy. Alright. I'm going to go back up to the attic, pull that board back. We'll drill the holes in the ceiling for the light fixture and we'll wire them up. This is much easier than the other set of lights. I'm not running any additional wiring or anything like that. I can actually leave the power on and just have it off at the switch here. Alright, here we are back up in the attic, and I did need to go one more sheet of plywood over to make room for the other light fixture. Now I have them all. Both light fixtures are installed, they're wired, and they work very well. We'll need to patch the hole for the old box, and I'll put the floor back down here, and then when I'm finished that, we'll go back downstairs and I'll show you the lights lit up. Alright, we're back down in the room, and the floor in the attic is all buttoned up, put down in place. Insulation was put back in place, and here is the moment of truth. There's our new lights. I like it. Much better than the ugly fixture that was in there. But can't really notice that it's not totally centered, but it is what it is because of the rafter above. This area here has never had this much light. I like it. Fresh paint job, some new hinges and handles on the doors, and this is going to really look nice after it's all finished. So there's the two lights in the hallway. To patch that hole there from where the old light fixture was. That'll be my next step. Take one last time the nook area, the 3 lights we did there, and we have a hole to patch there in the ceiling where the old light fixture was. But that's easy. That's easy. So yeah, everything looks good. Turned out good. It was a good project. I'm happy. It's a good feeling after you get a project done like this. I did have some moments where I thought to myself, why did I even bother? Now that it's done, I'm kind of glad I did. So I hope you enjoyed the video on replacing some ugly light fixtures with some recessed lighting. It was an easy project. Now from here I'm going to move on with this master bedroom redo, and patch these holes in the ceiling. I'll go around and fill any other holes that I might find in the walls, get it all prepped and ready to be painted in the new color. Even though this green paint here is in really good shape for being about 15 years old since I painted this, but it's time for a change, time for an update, time for a new color. I'm excited, looking forward to it. So we got the floor done, the lighting done. Now we'll get everything prepped for paint. We'll move on to the paint hopefully shortly. So thanks for watching. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button for me. And if you like the video, hit that like button. It'll help me out. And I'll see everybody in the next one.